over the Jazz. Rose has struggled with injuries since being the MVP back in 2011, but he played 41 minutes last night since the Wolves were without Jimmy Butler. We're joined once again by Chris Broussard. Chris, it was quite the performance last night. Can he be a star again, in your opinion?
I don't think so. I wish I could say yes, but certainly he can't ever get back to the MVP level. Right. I don't think he can even get to perennial all-star level. I think at best he could be like maybe a sixth man of the year. Mm-hmm. Maybe if he were in the East. In the West, you can't even be an all-star.
No.
Maybe if he were in the East, could he do a Bernard King, maybe make an all-star team, Grant Hill here or there, maybe once or something like that. But I think at best could give you 18 points a game off the bench and be a really effective leader to your second unit and help a team win. I think if you gave him his own team like he had in Chicago, I do think he could put up numbers, maybe score in the low 20s, but I don't think you'd win like you did. The game is so much different
now.
And last night, Utah was basically giving him the mid-range jumper because a lot of guys in this league don't shoot the mid-range jumper very well or even shoot it, period. He is great at the mid-range jump shot. And then if you've been watching the games this season, I know as you all have, it is easier than ever to get to the rim. Every team, it's a joke because a lot of guys go to the rim and they aren't always looking to shoot. They're looking to kick out, So teams are almost like, we'd rather you get in.
We'll give you two.
Not three. And so that just plays into Derrick Rose's game. And I was talking to somebody in Minnesota about this. They were saying last night was the first time Derrick Rose has had the ball in his hands as the point guard since he's been in Minnesota. Last year, they said, this shocked me. They were playing him at the 3 because they had Jeff Teague at the point, Jamal Crawford is the backup 2, and then he would be the 3, and he would just go out and play because he wanted to get on the court. This year, he's not the backup point. He's the backup 2. Tyus Jones is the backup point. So he really doesn't get the opportunities that he used to get. But no, I don't think he could be a perennial all-star or anything like that.
I agree. I agree for everything you just said, especially in the Western Conference when it's so loaded. They go 6 deep at the guard position. You got 2 in Portland. You got Russ, Harden, CP3, Clay, Steph. So the guard situation is done. But I also agree that he can be, and he said it, when he first got into the league, he wanted to be an MVP. Check. He says now he's a 6th man. He comes off the bench. I want to be the 6th man of the year. And I think Bill Walton is the only guy that's ever won MVP and been the 6th man of the year. Yep. So that would be that would be a nice little, checking on the resume. It was special. That night was meant to be. It was meant to happen. And Skip, as you get older, you appreciate things more. I remember my first year back in Denver is that when I broke the record for the most receiving yards, Skip, I think it meant more to me because I knew my career was coming to an end. Had I done it in year 5, year 6, it probably wouldn't have meant as much to me because I'm like, I'm gonna break this again. I got 5, 6, 7 more years to do this. But Derrick Rose knows it's getting closer to the end, and he realized what he was. But last night offered everybody a glimpse of what this young man could have been, and it robbed us. Those injuries robbed him. And it robbed us the ability to see him at his absolute apex. He was unbelievable last night. 50 points on 31 shots, 4-7. Derrick Rose is not a 3-point shooter. Dude went 4-7. That lets you know it was meant to be. And he's shown flashes. Even like you said, the Knicks. Even in Cleveland last year, there were spots that, look at D. Rose. But last night was a night he'll never, ever forget. And but I don't think he can't continue this play because you got to realize who they were without. They were without Jeff Teague. They were without Jimmy Butler. Those 31 shots are going to probably get chopped up because Jimmy Butler's going to get his shot.
At best, he's the 4th option. At best.
Wow.
Right.
At best.
That's true. This young man is now 30 years of age. And
we talk about it like he's 35.
No, well, it's true because it feels like he's been around that long. And I don't want to rain on the parade that was just like a fairy tale last night. I felt like I was watching a movie whose script I would find completely unbelievable. Like this doesn't happen.
Right.
This is one of those stupid sports movies, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm walking out of this one.
Yeah.
Ernestine, we're out.
We already know how it's
Give
going
it
to
a
end.
shot.
Unrealistic.
It just can't happen. But listen, it's hard to score 50 points in an NBA game. I don't care who you are or what you've been or not. It's just hard to score 50. So I don't want to take anything away from that. The circumstances were he had a little axe to grind with Utah because they just flat out waived him last year when he got traded with Jay Crowder. They
didn't want to see what he could do.
They didn't want to check him out. And I do think that team wanted to show Jimmy Butler, okay, if you're going to take a night off, we'll show you we can win without you and beat a good team in Utah. So they had that going for them, and that's why the team mobbed Derrick after the game. I think they were all really celebrating an early season win over a good team and especially a good defensive team. But I will say, I saw Derrick Rose last night who looked healthy for the first time in a really long time, where he looked as explosive as I've seen him look since 2011 because he's had one injury after another. And then I think it started eating at his psyche.
Yes,
where he
absolutely.
lost confidence. He didn't lose confidence in himself. He lost confidence in his legs.
Yeah, I
agree.
And if you do, you're out in this league. So he's bounced around and he's lost heart for the game. And he's had these leaves of absence that are sort of, like what's going on
In Cleveland, at the Knicks, where he just left for a ball game.
Really?
Where no one knew who he was, and boom.
I understood why he was crying last night.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've seen it, Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, we mentioned. But for you to go from the MVP at such a young stage of your career, and you're winning. I mean, you're a 60-win team. You're always in the hunt for a title. To become, like you said, cut by Utah. You're backing up guys that you know couldn't carry your
backing up
jock strap
Calderon
back in
Cleveland.
the day. And you don't get a shot. Like, I think part of the reason he left Cleveland and gone through this mental anguish, he wasn't getting a shot. He's in these positions where his game, he couldn't play with LeBron. There's just his game, they don't match.
I agree.
And then you got Isaiah Thomas there. So that was the whole thing. Like, and then to have to be in Minnesota, where a guy that was playing like 5 minutes a game when you were the superstar, Jimmy Butler, who was nothing.
That is
and
true.
now he's the star,
That's
and
true.
he's acting out like, and you got to sit there and.
That's a good point.
I'm not saying he's
This
mad
guy
at
don't
Jimmy,
wanna play.
but that's
Give me those Jimmy Butler minutes.
It's tough.
So I'm with you. I wrote down that very number. I still think he could average 18 points a game, which is still pretty good.
Pretty
and
good
I
off
do
the
think
bench.
because it's all about narrative to win an award, right? This would be a great narrative that he came back from the near basketball dead to win Sixth Man of the Year. I would give him a shot on narrative.
Yes.
I mean, J.R. Smith won this award once upon a time, right? If J.R. Smith can win it, can Derrick win it? Yeah. They need some team success. They need Jimmy to stay, and they need to get on a roll. And I think they could.
Oh, yeah.
I still think they're pretty good.
I think the best thing for Jimmy, not to get off subject, but for him, he wants out, obviously.
Yeah.
For him to be traded, play your best, be professional, help the Timberwolves win as many games as they can before the trade deadline in February, because they're going to have to trade you.
Yeah.
Like if they know you're not staying and they don't want to go over the luxury tax to pay you, they're going to have to trade you by February. They can act tough.
Tibbs is going to fight for him to stay, to keep.
But I don't think Tibbs' footing is strong enough anymore in Minnesota to just be like, we'll keep.
But they know what they gave up to get Jimmy. And they see Zach LaVine balling in Chicago.
Yes.
And they're like, we're not just finna give you away to the Miami Heat.
True.
But if he's acting up, I mean, Jimmy just needs to be professional, put on a good face and play. He's playing great.
Great.
But some of this stuff it turns some teams off. Not all teams, but some teams this stuff turns off.
All right, Chris, thank you for joining us. We're going back to it. Who's the best quarterback right now, Brady or Rodgers, former